On this week's episode of David versus the Community tab, I straight up asked you once again, what do you want to see me make this week? And you guys delivered with your responses. The top comment was somebody asking me to do a recipe of my own, something personal that I've came up with. And as you can see in the response right there, that's what I'm planning to do for the entire month of October. So I'm gonna leave that for then. By far, the most frequently commented recipe was Claire's angel food cake from Bon Appetit. And my issue with this is I didn't do any Buzzfeed videos last week, and I would hate to do that to you guys 2 weeks in a row. So I will do this one, I'll just save it for next Friday. And lastly, the second most frequently commented recipe was Alvin's 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 day noodles. The title of this video already gives me PTSD, but I have some issues with this too. 2 of the 3 recipes mainly involve beans or a bean paste or something like that. And as some of you probably know, I wouldn't be able to eat those. I am allergic to beans. If you're new here and you didn't know that, hello, my name is David. I'm a walking food allergy. I'm literally allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, almonds, cashews, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, carrots, beans, peas, legumes. The list goes on. As a result of this, I can't do that video this week, so I went through Tasty's archive and found the closest video to those 3 noodle dishes, and I think that would be Rie's favorite Japanese noodle recipes. Now in this video, she shows a number of different dishes, but all of them fall under the 3 categories of yakisoba, udon, or ramen. So today I'm gonna go through and pick one from each one of those categories and see which one I end up liking best. First up today is Rie's lemon, pork, and scallion yakisoba, and for that I grabbed some sake and chicken bouillon, sesame oil, salt and pepper, some yakisoba or chow mein noodles, fresh ginger and pork, lemon, garlic, and scallions. Now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're able to use pretty much any thin Japanese noodle for this. I ended up using these because Rie mentions in the video that this is very similar to a chow mein. So those noodles should work pretty well. So I just went through and prepared my garlic and fresh ginger as well as my scallions. And I cannot tell you how amazing it already smells in here between this fresh garlic and ginger. I also wanted to go through and thinly slice this pork belly or whatever type of cured pork block you have. Honestly, I think like a thin pork chop or some bacon or any type of thin pork pieces you have would work fine for this. Now once that prep work was all out of the way, I wanted to blanch my noodles. According to the package, these only need 3 or 4 minutes to cook fully. So I'm just gonna blanch them for a minute or 2 because they're gonna be in the pan for quite a while cooking with everything else. I also made sure to dip them in some ice water to stop the cooking process, because if you don't, they'll sit there for 10 minutes, continuing to cook from residual heat and become mushy. With all that said, we can start preparing this entire dish with some sesame oil and our fresh aromatics. This recipe is a lot of adding 1 or 2 ingredients in, allowing it to cook down for a minute, either become brown, render off, whatever it may be. Just take your time though, everything will come together in the end. I do wish I could cook this pork a bit more to get it a little bit crispy. I fear I'm gonna burn the garlic though, so I moved on with adding my noodles, my chicken bouillon powder, as well as my salt, pepper, lemon juice, sake, all that good stuff. Plate 1 of 3 is already incredibly easy and smelling amazing. I totally didn't pick this because of how simple it looked, but you cannot deny this looks absolutely delicious, so let's give it a try. I think my favorite part of this and that whole video is the fact that this is considered street food in Japan. Here, you get a slab of meat on a piece of crappy bread. That's our street food. Look at this. She's done it again. Oh man, just that combination of salty, garlicky, ginger is so freaking good. As I mentioned, I am slightly worried about this. You guys know how I feel about bacon that's not super crispy. It definitely would have benefited from cooking a bit longer, maybe before I put the garlic and ginger down so it didn't want to burn. This pasta though, and the flavor, it goes against every single bone in my Italian body, but I might have to say that this is better than spaghetti, any type of spaghetti. An excellent start to the day. For noodle dish number 2, we've got some udon, one of my personal favorite pastas in the world, really. Every single time I'm in Epcot in Disney World, I go to the Japan Pavilion and get me some udon. It's just so good. To make Ries' version, I grabbed some sake and mirin, some soy sauce and udon noodles, eggplant, dashi broth, sugar, scallions, 1 egg, some sesame oil, that leftover pork, and some seaweed. Now the first thing I want to get out of the way here is the soft boiled egg so I could put it in the fridge to cool down before I try to deshell it. And shout out to my boy Alex, the French cooking guy, for making a 15-minute video, something like that, on soft boiled eggs. Those are precisely the types of videos I find myself watching at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I went for a 7-minute boil before dipping it in the ice water and then sticking it in the fridge for the remainder of my prep time. Now here is the only part of this video that might get a little bit dicey. Rie uses a mentsuyu broth, which is just like a soup base, and she even says in the video that you can make this at home, and I've looked up a number of recipes, so that's what I'm gonna try to do. Based on all of the recipes I looked up, it just seems to be a combination of soy sauce, mirin, sake, and a dashi base. You can also crush up some kombu or seaweed just to give it a little bit more of a seafood flavor. And once you've got that all combined, you just want to bring it to a simmer on a medium heat to cook off some of the alcohol and let all those flavors mend together. We also have got to prepare our eggplant. Now in the video, Rie finds these cute little world's tiniest eggplants that I've never seen in person before. So I'm just gonna try to mimic the shapes that she has with this enormous one. And I'm gathering that you kind of want to make them look like little squid tentacles with the way you cut them. After you've got them cut like a little car wash, we're gonna put them on a non-stick pan just to let them soften up and be easier to chew through later. And we can put those over to the side for now while we grab back our slab of pork. I'm hoping I'm gonna have enough. I shouldn't need all that much. I'm just making one udon dish. The one thing I will say is I definitely want to get this pork a little bit crispier than the last time, just so that fat isn't so incredibly chewy. And now that both of those ingredients are cooked up, we can actually stick them in our mentsuyu broth and let them marinate for a few minutes while we cook our noodles. Again, I'm quite surprised by how little time you're supposed to cook these for. This is an incredibly thick noodle, and the package only says 4 minutes. I guess it's because they're not completely dried. It's just still a little surprising coming from, say, a linguine that takes, what, 14 minutes? And once you've got those fully cooked and dipped in your ice water bath, once again, we can throw this dish together as well. I added a few ladles of my cold broth. Do not forget that soft-boiled egg that we cooked at the very beginning of this. And this is looking great too, so let's give this one a try. I kind of love how they ended up looking like little octopuses, octopi. I love udon so much. And I'm really glad I actually found real, I think, traditional udon, as opposed to the last one I had and you guys said that was not the case. Apparently I forgot how to use chopsticks. I'll be honest, when I was watching that video and making it, I thought I would have much rather prefer them be hot. This might be a revelation for me though. Let me try to get a little bit of everything. All right, I got some pork, I got some pasta, some squid. I kind of just want to sit here in silence and just finish this whole bowl. Even as good as this is, I still think I like the last one a little bit better. We do have some ramen to make now though. Last but certainly not least today is our ramen. I grabbed some chicken broth, soy sauce, ramen noodles, and kosher salt, pork chops, scallions, another egg, and some more seaweed. I guess it's only fair to have to sacrifice my fingers and hand at least once a video, so I was trying to slice my pork chops incredibly thin, probably even thinner than they had to be. And to all of you out there hoping I sliced my hand right open, I didn't, at least today. I cooked up my pork directly in that same cast iron that I've been using all day today. And in addition, we're gonna have to reduce some soy sauce, which is gonna be the most integral base to our broth in a little bit. Once I was happy with that, I poured it out and heated up some chicken stock. I always found it interesting how she prepares the two main components separately. I'm not sure the benefits to that versus just putting them in the pan together. I will not question Ries though. Lastly, you gotta cook yet another soft-boiled egg. You gotta fully cook your block of ramen noodles. In another bowl, I threw together the two parts of my broth, the noodles, the pork, all of those goodies. You cannot forget your scallion and sesame seed garnish, as with every single dish we have done so far today. And I cannot be any happier with how everything has turned out today. So let's give the third and final dish a try. As you can tell, I have an audience now. Say hello, everyone. Okay. Sick. They're shy. Don't worry about them. I'm fearing that my basic, immature American palate is gonna like this one the most because it's the most simple and just straight salt.
It looks so good.
Well, it's overcooked, for one. I've also never made a super concentrated base for a soup and then poured an unseasoned stock on top of it. So then when they mix, they even out. We all know what ramen tastes like. It's fantastic. I can eat it for every meal, every day. As you can tell, I cheated a little bit and cooked this a lot more than the other pork. Just because pork is my least favorite meat. And for me to enjoy it, it has to be super, at least a little bit of char. If it's still chewy and super gelatinous and fatty, it's just not my favorite. If this was like a super tender, shredded up chicken breast, easily this would be my favorite one of the three. As absolutely delicious as all of these have been, and I'm also gonna finish this off camera, definitely. I feel like I've ingested about 1.5 pounds of salt today. So I'm gonna go drink some water. But shout out to Queen Ries, you came through with recipes once again to nobody's surprise. Love you. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, slap me a like. Go over and follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. I'll actually be gone for this whole upcoming week. So look out on my Instagram story from where I'm at, what I'm doing. But as I said, I'll have that angel food cake ready for you to go on Friday. Until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.